The story of the film, The Conjuring, recounts events that took place in 1971. It revolves around a family of 7 who moved to Harrisville, Rhode Island, in the northeastern United States, specifically to an old property known as the Old Arnold Estate, which was reputedly haunted. Even their dog refused to enter the house due to sensing strange phenomena within. The family lived in the house for 9 years, from 1971 to 1980. One of the daughters later revealed that despite the pleasant memories associated with the house and their poor financial situation, they couldn't immediately decide to move due to feeling the presence of strange entities there. According to the eldest daughter, Andrea, who spoke to the American Today newspaper, there were numerous spirits inhabiting the house, including the main spirit, Bathsheba, who often considered herself the lady of the house and competed with their mother for that position, much to their discomfort. Andrea further explained that incredibly strange events occurred during their time in the house. She witnessed her mother speaking in a different voice, speaking unknown languages, chairs moving on their own, and the broom sweeping without anyone operating it, sometimes even being thrown out of the room suddenly without warning, which she described as a real nightmare. Previous investigations by researchers revealed that 8 generations of the same family had lived in the house, and many of its members had died in bizarre and terrifying ways. Several children had drowned in a nearby pond, some were murdered, and others had hanged themselves in the attic of the house. The Perron family consisted of a father, mother, and 5 daughters named Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cynthia, and April. They lived in a 14-room house, and the eldest daughter of the family claimed the presence of numerous malevolent spirits inhabiting their home alongside Bathsheba, who was said to have sacrificed her child to the devil and cast a curse to harm anyone who lived in the house afterward before committing suicide. Research indicated that this woman may have been responsible for the death of a neighbor's child, although no trial was ever confirmed. Neighbors advised the family to keep the lights on at night to avoid the appearance of these spirits. Initially, the family spoke positively of these strange visitors, praising their kindness. Cynthia, one of the 5 girls, even mentioned that one of these spirits would come and kiss her on the forehead every night, leading her to believe it was her mother. Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators, took on the frightening case of this haunted house in New England in 1971. They were a married couple and experts in all things related to paranormal phenomena in the United States, particularly those involving spirits. One of the most famous cases they investigated was the Amityville Horror, which later became the subject of a series of horror films titled The Amityville Horror. The Warrens founded the New England Society for Psychic Research, and people believed Ed had a special ability to communicate with spirits, while Lorraine claimed to be a medium with the ability to communicate with spirits. During their visit to the haunted house, Lorraine conducted a séance to try to communicate with the spirits. However, during these preparations, it is believed that Lorraine became possessed by malevolent spirits, exhibiting strange manifestations such as speaking incoherently and levitating from her chair. They were eventually expelled from the house by the family after this séance due to fear of the intense events and to prevent them from being heavily influenced by them. Ed passed away in 2006, but Lorraine died in 2019. Before her death, she contributed to documenting the events of the film as one of the key figures in that famous true story. Much of the film's events were drawn from recordings of Ed's case dealings with the family at that time. In an interview with the American Today newspaper, Lorraine stated that the events she experienced were terrifying and horrifying, which motivated her to participate in conveying the events exactly as they occurred. The DeVos family's home serves as the link to the next story in the film, which unfolds thousands of miles away from the first location. Since the film is new, I won't spoil the enjoyment of watching its events and experiencing the horror firsthand. Therefore, I won't delve into the details of the film itself, but rather focus on the events that form its basis. This takes us to Enfield, a suburb in London, England, where the Hodgson family resides. This family consists of the mother, Peggy, and her 4 children. It all began one night in 1977 when Peggy sent her children to bed early and sat alone watching TV in the living room. After a while, she heard noises coming from her daughter's room upstairs. She yelled at them to stop playing and go to sleep, but the noises persisted. Mrs. Hodgson, annoyed, went upstairs to scold her daughters for not sleeping, but as she opened the door, she saw the girls sitting silently in their beds, staring in terror at the heavy wooden wardrobe that had moved from its place against the wall and settled in the middle of the room. Amazed, Mrs. Hodgson pushed the wardrobe back slowly to its original position, but as soon as she stepped away, the wardrobe moved by itself again and returned to the center of the room. Terrified, Mrs. Hodgson felt a strange presence in the room, an invisible person. Then, she heard 3 consecutive knocks on the wall, followed by a short silence, and then the knocks repeated, but on another wall.